Do you feel your feelings control you? Do you get angry at people you love for small things? Do you worry about things that are not real yet? What I'm going to say might feel a bit uncomfortable, but it's true. And it might be what you need to hear, because deep down, you know something doesn't feel right. You want to feel calm, in control, and peaceful. But your emotions keep taking over. Here's the truth. Your mind and emotions aren't your enemies, but if you don't control them, they'll control you. Most of us react without thinking, then wonder why life feels chaotic. But what if I told you that controlling your mind and emotions is not magic? It's a skill anyone can learn starting today with simple tips. Think about the most successful, peaceful people you know, like Oprah Winfrey, Keanu Reeves, or Michelle Obama. They're not superhuman, they've just learned something important: how to pause between what happens and how they react. They've learned to make their mind work for them, not against them. In this video, I'm sharing 15 powerful tips to help you take control. Whether you have stress at work, bad habits, or feel overwhelmed, these tips will help you control your own mind. So if you're ready to stop being a passenger in your own life and start driving with purpose, let's begin. Trust me, by the end of this video, you'll have a completely different relationship with your thoughts and emotions. Tip 1. Avoid temporary pleasures. Let's start with something that might hurt a little. The thing that feels good now might cause problems later. Here's what I mean. Every day, we face many chances for instant pleasure. The donut when you're dieting, Netflix when you should be working, social media when you plan to read. These feel good now, but leave you feeling empty, regretful, or further from your goals. The real question you need to ask yourself isn't, "Do I want this right now?" It's, "How will I feel about this choice in 1 hour? 1 day? 1 month?" This is called the pleasure trap, and it's made to trick your brain. Your old brain wants immediate rewards. It doesn't care about your 6-month fitness goal or your dream of being financially free. It just wants the good feeling right now. Be smarter than your brain with a mental time travel exercise. Imagine what will happen 1 hour after eating the pizza, the next morning if you stay up late, or next month if you do not work on your goal. Does that picture make you feel proud, full of energy, closer to who you want to become? Or does it make you feel sorry, slow, and disappointed in yourself? As I said before, people who do extraordinary things aren't superhuman. They've learned delayed pleasure, choosing long-term value over short-term fun and finding happiness in regular, value-based actions. So next time temptation comes, and it will, probably in the next hour, please pause. Ask yourself the future-focused question, and choose the option that your future self will thank you for. Because self-control isn't about saying no to everything, it's about choosing what you want most over what you want right now. Tip 2. Use wisdom, not feelings. Let me paint you a picture. Your coworker says bad things about your work in a meeting. Your heart beats faster. In that moment, your emotional brain wants to fight back, defend yourself strongly, or say something you'll be sorry for. But what if, in that important moment, you had a superpower? What if you could create a 2-second gap between what happens to you and how you respond? This is the difference between reaction and response. Reaction is automatic, emotional, and often destructive. Response is planned, wise, and powerful. Here's the method that changes everything. Before you react to any difficult situation, pause for 2 to 3 seconds and take one deep breath. Just one. In that breath, ask yourself this simple question: is this a wise response? Think of your mind as the driver and your emotions as passengers. The passengers can be loud, demanding, and messy, but they don't get to take the steering wheel. You're the driver. You decide where this car goes. Let's go back to that meeting picture. Instead of getting angry, you pause, breathe, and ask, what's the wise response? Maybe you say, thanks, I'll check and get back to you, or handle it privately later. The result? You keep your professional reputation, you keep your dignity, and you prove to yourself that you are in control, not your emotional triggers. This doesn't mean hiding your emotions. They're real and important. This means accepting your emotions without letting them control you. Feel the anger, notice the hurt, but act with choice and wisdom. Tip 3. Name your emotions, don't become them. Here's something most people get wrong about emotions. We think we are our emotions. When anger comes, we say, I am angry, like anger is our identity. When sadness comes, we believe I am sad, like we've changed into sadness itself. But what if I told you that a small change in language could completely change your relationship with emotions? Try this instead. I am feeling anger. I can feel anger inside me. Or I am noticing sadness. Hey, do you see the difference? You're not the emotion. You're watching the emotion. It's happening to you, not as you. This creates psychological distance, and that distance is power. Psychologists call this affect labeling. Simply naming an emotion makes it less strong, calming the emotional brain and turning on the rational brain. In simple terms, this means, when you feel that wave of anger, pause and say to yourself, this is anger. When worry starts growing, accept it. This is anxiety. When jealousy appears, name it. This is jealousy. Don't try to push it away. Don't judge yourself for feeling it. Don't fight it or resist it. Just name it. Here's what happens. The emotion loses its hold on you. When you're not joined with the emotion, you can watch it rise, reach the top, and fall like a wave. You realize emotions are temporary visitors, not permanent residents. Think of emotions as weather moving through the sky of your mind. You wouldn't say, I am the thunderstorm. You'd say, there's a thunderstorm happening. Same with emotions. There's anger happening. There's sadness happening. But you, the watcher, the awareness, the consciousness, you stay the same. This practice changes your inner experience. You still feel the storm, but instead of being carried away, you watch it pass as a calm watcher. And when emotions can't control you, you're finally free to respond with clarity, wisdom, and purpose. Tip 4. Understand the psychology of emotions. Stop seeing your emotions as enemies. They're not. They're messengers bringing information about your needs and values. The real problem is that most of us never learn to understand their messages. Let's break down what they're actually trying to tell you. Anger tells you about unfairness. It tells you something crossed your limits or hurt your values. Instead of hiding or exploding, ask yourself, What limit was crossed? What value feels threatened? When understood, anger can help you stand up for what really matters. Fear tells your brain to get ready. It's not always danger, sometimes just the unknown. Ask yourself, what am I really afraid of? Is this real danger or just new territory? Fear can guide preparation, not cause you to freeze. Sadness tells you that you need to heal. It says, something important is lost or changed. Instead of distracting yourself, ask, what am I sad about? What needs attention? Fully feeling sadness brings acceptance and growth. And anxiety is a future-focused emotion. It's your brain running disaster scenes, trying to prepare you for dangers that haven't happened yet. When anxiety grows, ask, what am I worried might happen? Is this in my control? If yes, what's one action I can take? If no, can I practice accepting uncertainty? See, emotions aren't random mess. They're information systems made to guide you. The problem isn't the emotions, it's that we never learn to read the signals they give. When you start seeing emotions as messengers rather than monsters, everything changes. You stop saying, "Why do I feel this way?" and start asking, "What is this feeling trying to tell me?" Not every emotion is true or logical. Some come from old beliefs or false ideas. But if you fight your feelings, you miss their message. So listen, understand what they're saying, take the lesson, then choose how to respond. Tip 5. Change your environment when your mind is overwhelmed. Your brain is not a computer that can just work through when it's too full. Sometimes the best thing you can do for your mental state is the simplest. Change your physical environment. When your mind feels foggy or stuck, it's mental overload. Your brain's full, and pushing harder only causes stress, frustration, and poor work. But here's the interesting part. Your environment shapes your mind. Light, noise, mess, all send signals to your brain. Stay too long in the same space when stressed, and your brain connects that place to the stuck feeling, trapping you in a loop. What's the solution? Break the pattern. Change the view. When you feel your mind going in circles or getting clouded, do this. Step outside for 10 minutes. Go for a walk around the block. Change rooms. Put on different music. Open a window. Hell, even just stand up and stretch in a different corner of your room. This isn't being lazy, it's a smart reset. Moving increases blood flow, fresh air adds oxygen, and new sights give your brain fresh patterns to process. A simple change in environment literally changes your brain state. I can't tell you how many times I've been stuck on a problem, frustrated and going in circles, only to take a 10-minute walk and come back with complete clarity. The solution wasn't found through harder thinking, it came through less thinking and more moving. Just think of it like this. When your computer freezes, you don't just keep clicking harder. You restart it. Your brain works the same way. Sometimes you need a restart, and changing your environment is the restart button. New environment equals new energy. New energy equals new view. New view equals breakthrough. So stop being stubborn. Stop sitting there forcing it. Get up. Move. Change the view. Your brain will thank you. Tip 6. Master your 5 senses. Let me tell you something that might seem clear but is deeply overlooked. Everything you think, everything you feel, everything you believe about the world, it all comes in through 5 entry points: your eyes, ears, nose, mouth, and touch. These 5 senses are the only gates into your mind, which means if you want to control your mind, you need to guard these gates carefully. Everything you take in, music, social media, news, conversations, food, shows, shapes your mind and emotions. Fill your mind with negativity and you'll become negative. Fill it with inspiration and knowledge, and you'll become better. This isn't about being unrealistically positive or avoiding reality. It's about being careful. Here's what I mean. What you watch. Are you watching content that makes you feel anxious or angry? Or are you watching things that teach, inspire, or truly entertain you without leaving you feeling worse after? What you listen to. Is your podcast list full of negativity and complaining? Or are you feeding your mind with ideas, stories, and views that lift your thinking? Who you talk to. Are your conversations draining you with gossip, negativity, and complaints? Or are you having discussions that challenge you, inspire you, and make you think differently? What you read. Are you looking at angry social media posts? Or are you reading books, articles, and content that expand your knowledge and view? And your physical environment, something so easy to overlook. Is your space messy, dark, and chaotic? Or is it organized, bright, and full of energy? Everything you see, hear, or feel plants a seed in your mind. Some grow into flowers, others into weeds. Choose carefully what you let in. Your attention shapes your reality, so protect it like it matters, because it does. Tip 7. Choose your memories carefully. Here's a strange truth about being human. Your past only exists in your memories, and an even stranger one. You can choose which memories to focus on, giving you more control over your past than you realize. Let me explain. The past is fixed. You can't change what happened, but the meaning you give to those events, that's completely flexible. The memories you replay over and over, that's your choice. And those choices shape who you become. Most people do this backwards. They replay their failures, embarrassing moments, and painful times like a highlight reel of everything that went wrong. But what if you chose to remember differently? Instead of replaying your failures, replay your moments of strength. Remember the time you faced fear and did it anyway. Remember when you learned from a mistake and became better because of it. You have to retrain your mind. Focus on what you've learned and how you've grown, not just what hurt or went wrong. Your memories are the stories you tell yourself about who you are. Make sure you're telling a story that gives you power, not one that locks you up. The past is your library, so choose your books wisely. Tip 8. Let go of what you can't control. This might be the hardest yet most freeing truth you'll hear. You cannot control most of what happens in your life, but you can always control your response to what happens. Think about everything you stress over: other people's opinions, the economy, traffic, the weather, your boss's mood, whether you'll get that promotion, what someone said about you behind your back, global events, your family members' choices. Here's the hard truth. None of that is in your control. Zero. And every bit of energy you spend trying to control what you can't control is energy stolen from what you can control. So what can you control? Your effort, your attitude, your preparation, your response, your habits, your decisions, your words, your focus, how you spend your time, what you choose to learn, how you treat people, whether you give up or keep going. That's it. And guess what? That's enough. That's actually everything that matters. The Stoic philosophers had an idea called the dichotomy of control. They taught that wisdom means telling the difference between what's in your power and what isn't, then putting all your energy on what you can actually influence. When you stop trying to control what you can't control, something magical happens. You stop feeling like a victim. You stop waiting for things to change before you can be happy. This isn't about being passive or not caring. It's about using your energy wisely. Don't waste it on what you can't control. Save it for what you can. So here's your practice. When you notice yourself stressing about something, ask, is this in my control? If yes, make a plan and take action. If no, accept it and purposely redirect your focus to something you can influence. This takes practice. Your brain wants to control everything because it thinks control equals safety. But real strength comes from trusting yourself to handle what happens and letting go of what's beyond your control. Tip 9. Use positive self-suggestion. Your mind is listening to you. Every thought you think, every word you say to yourself, your subconscious is recording it, believing it, and using it to shape your reality. So what are you telling yourself? Most people have an internal conversation that would make a toxic relationship look healthy. I'm so stupid. I always mess things up. I'll never be successful. I'm not good enough. This is too hard for me. You would never talk to a friend the way you talk to yourself, yet you expect yourself to feel confident and capable while hitting your mind with negative messages all day long. It doesn't work that way. Here's what does work. Positive self-suggestion. This isn't about fake positivity or lying to yourself. It's about purposely programming your mind with empowering beliefs that support your growth. Instead of, I can't do this, try, I am learning and growing. I am capable of more than I realize. Instead of, everything is falling apart, try, I trust myself to handle whatever comes. I am strong and resourceful. Here's why this works. Your subconscious mind doesn't argue with you. It believes what you tell it and acts on it. Tell yourself you can't, and your mind will prove you right. Tell yourself you can, and it'll help you become that person. The key is repetition and emotion. Say your empowering statements regularly, morning and night at least. Say them with feeling, not like a robot reading lines. Your brain responds to emotion and repetition, not just words. This might feel fake at first. That's normal. You're rewiring decades of negative programming. Keep going. The beliefs will eventually catch up to the words, and when they do, your reality will change. You're already programming your mind every day through your self-talk. The question is, are you programming limits or possibilities? Choose your words carefully. Your future self is listening. Tip 10. Create a mental reset button. And here is one of the most practical tools for emotional control. Your personal mental reset button. Think about your phone or computer. When it starts having problems, freezing or running slowly, what do? You restart it. Simple, effective, instantly improves how it works. Your brain needs the same ability. When stress grows or anxiety gets big, you need a fast, reliable way to reset. The good news, you can train your brain to respond to a trigger that says, "Time to reset." I'll show you how to create your reset button. Let's choose a simple physical action or habit that you can do anywhere, anytime. It could be drinking a glass of water slowly and carefully, taking 3 deep breaths, in for 4 seconds, hold for 4 seconds, out for 6 seconds, washing your face with cold water, standing up and doing 10 jumping jacks, listening to a specific 2-minute song that calms you, stepping outside and looking at the sky. The specific action doesn't matter as much as doing it regularly. The goal is to train your brain. When I do this action, it signals that I'm choosing to reset my emotional state. Do this regularly, especially when you notice stress building. Over time, your brain will form a connection. The physical action becomes a pattern break that stops the stress cycle and gives you a moment to choose a different response. Think of it like a save point in a video game. When things get messy, you hit the reset and come back to your centered state. I use this method multiple times a day. Middle of a stressful work project? Reset button. Just had a frustrating conversation? Reset button. Feeling overwhelmed by my to-do list? Reset button. You're training your nervous system. No matter what happens outside, I have an internal way to return to calm. That's real power. That's real control. Tip 11. Surround yourself with positive people. There's a saying that might sound harsh but is absolutely true. You become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Look at your closest friends, colleagues, and family members you see daily. Are they positive or negative? Growth-minded or stuck in their ways? People who complain or people who solve problems? Because whether you realize it or not, you're taking in their attitudes, beliefs, energy, and worldview. You're being programmed by being near them. If you spend 8 hours a day with people who complain about everything, guess what? You'll start seeing the world through complaint-colored glasses. If your social circle has people who make fun of ambition and growth, you'll feel ashamed of your own dreams and make them smaller to fit in. This isn't judgment, it's just reality. Humans are social creatures with mirror neurons that literally make us copy the emotions and behaviors of those around us. We're built for social matching. It's survival biology. But here's where your power is. You don't need to cut everyone off, but you must protect your energy. Spend less time with those who drain or pull you down. Surround yourself with people who inspire, challenge, and support your growth. Those who solve, not complain, who celebrate your wins, not feel jealous, who lift you higher, not pull you down. This might mean spending less time with certain people. It might mean looking for new communities, mentors, or friendships. It might mean joining groups, going to events, or being in spaces where growth-minded people gather. Your environment isn't neutral. It either lifts you up or drags you down. Surround yourself with people and places that support who you want to become. Choose your circle wisely. Your future depends on it. Tip 12. Focus on one thing at a time. Now, let's talk about one of the biggest lies modern culture has sold you. Multitasking makes you more productive. but the truth is, it doesn't make you sharper or faster. It makes you more scattered, more stressed, and much less effective. Here's what actually happens when you multitask. Your brain quickly switches between tasks, and every switch has a mental cost. It takes time and energy for your brain to reorient, remember where you were, and get back into focus. You're not doing multiple things at once. You're doing multiple things poorly one after another while feeling anxious about all of them. Compare that to single tasking. 1 hour of focused, uninterrupted work on one thing produces higher quality results than 5 hours of distracted, scattered effort across multiple things. But here's the bigger benefit that nobody talks about. Single tasking doesn't just improve your productivity, it improves your peace of mind. When you're fully present with one task, you're not worried about the 17 other things on your list. You're not checking your phone every 3 minutes. You're not having 10 browser tabs open, pulling your attention in different directions. You're here, now, doing this one thing. Think about it. When was the last time you felt truly satisfied and proud? I'd bet it wasn't during a crazy session of jumping between tasks. It was probably when you got deeply into one thing and finished it well. So here's your practice. Choose one thing. Turn off notifications. Close unnecessary tabs. Put your phone in another room if you have to. Set a timer for 25 or 50 minutes. Do just that one thing until the timer goes off. You'll be amazed at how much you can do when you stop trying to do everything at once. And more importantly, you'll feel calmer, more in control, and more present. One thing, fully, then the next thing, fully. That's not just productivity advice, that's a peace of mind practice. Tip 13. Challenge negative thoughts. Your thoughts are not facts. Read that again because it's one of the most freeing truths you'll ever learn. Your thoughts are not facts. Just because you think something doesn't make it true. Your brain creates thousands of thoughts per day, and many of them are twisted, irrational, fear-based, or just flat-out wrong. The problem is, most people treat their thoughts like absolute truth. A thought pops into their head like, I'm going to fail, and then they believe it without question. They don't examine it, challenge it, or test if it's true. They just accept it and let it control their emotions and actions. But what if you started treating your thoughts like a scientist treats a hypothesis? What if you questioned them, looked at the evidence, and only accepted the ones that hold up to checking? This is called cognitive challenging, and it's one of the most powerful mental skills you can develop. Here's how it works. When a negative thought appears, pause and ask, is this thought 100% true, or is it an assumption fear? What evidence do I have that supports this thought? Is there another way to see this situation? Here's a real example. Thought, I'm going to fail this presentation. Challenge it. Is that 100% true? What evidence do I have? I've prepared well. I've done presentations before. Most went fine, and the ones that didn't still taught me lessons. I know my material, so will I definitely fail? Number, I might fail, but I also might succeed or do just fine. See what happened? Fear gets weaker when you think clearly. Thoughts shape emotions. Emotions drive actions. Actions create results. Want different results? Start by questioning the thoughts that start the chain. Not every thought deserves your trust. Choose wisely. Tip 14. Visualize your goals. Remember, your brain is an interesting organ with a strange feature. It doesn't clearly tell the difference between vividly imagined experiences and real ones. When you vividly imagine something with emotion, your brain reacts as if it's real. That's why athletes, surgeons, and successful people use visualization to improve performance and reach their goals. But most people visualize wrong. They think visualization means having a vague daydream about success. That doesn't work. Good visualization is specific, sensory-rich, and emotionally engaging. Here's how to do it right. Find a quiet space where you won't be interrupted for 5 to 10 minutes. Close your eyes. Now create a mental movie of yourself achieving your goal, but make it vivid. What do you see? The environment, the people, the details of the scene. What do you hear? Sounds, voices, music, background noise. What do you feel physically? The sensations in your body, the temperature, the feeling of success. What emotions are you experiencing? Pride, joy, satisfaction, relief, confidence. Don't just watch the movie. Be in it, first-person view. Feel it as if it's happening now. Visualize not just the end result, but also the process. See yourself taking the steps, overcoming obstacles, continuing when it's difficult. This programs your brain with both the destination and the path. Do this daily, preferably morning or night when your mind is most open. Spend at least 5 minutes truly putting yourself in this visualization. Top performers across every field use this method because it works. Your brain can be programmed, and visualization is one of the most direct programming methods available. But remember, visualization helps action. It doesn't replace it. See it clearly in your mind, feel it deeply, then get up and do the work to make it real. Tip 15. Practice gratitude daily. So now, let's end with the simplest yet most life-changing practice of all, gratitude. Here's something remarkable. Your brain can't feel anxious, angry, or depressed at the same time as real gratitude. Gratitude acts like an emotional reset, flipping you from scarcity to abundance in seconds. But most people practice gratitude wrong, or they don't practice it at all. They think about it theoretically. Yeah, I have things to be grateful for. But they don't do it in a regular way that rewires their brain. Let's practice. Every night before bed, write down 3 things you're grateful for from that day. And here's the key. They must be specific, and they must be from today. Not general things like my family or my health. Those are nice, but they don't work on your brain the same way. Instead, write things like, the way the sunlight came through my window this morning and made my coffee look golden. The unexpected text from my friend checking on me. The fact that I chose to go for a walk even though I didn't feel like it, and I felt better after. Small, specific, real moments from your actual day. But why does this work? Because you're training your brain to actively search for positive experiences throughout the day. When your brain knows you'll be writing down 3 good things at night, it starts noticing and recording good things all day long. You're literally rewiring your brain pathways to look for the positive. Over time, practicing gratitude doesn't just lift your mood temporarily. It changes how you see the world. You spot opportunities instead of obstacles. Notice what works instead of what's broken. and feel enough instead of always lacking. This isn't about ignoring problems or pretending life is perfect. You can accept challenges and be grateful. They're not opposite. In fact, gratitude often gives you the emotional strength needed to handle problems more effectively. Try this for 30 days. Each night, write down 3 things you're grateful for. Do it regularly, and your outlook will change. You won't ignore reality, but you'll see a more balanced, strong view of life, recognizing both challenges and blessings. Gratitude is the cure for the comparison trap, the solution for the never enough mindset, and the foundation of mental and emotional well-being. Start tonight. 3 things. Make them specific. Make them from today. Watch what happens. So there you have it. 15 powerful tips to control your mind and emotions. But here's what I want you to understand. These aren't just methods to remember or ideas to think about. These are practices to use, habits to build, and skills to develop through regular action. You're not going to master all 15 tips overnight, and that's perfectly fine. Nobody expects you to. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. The goal is to start recognizing when your emotions are driving and purposely choose to take back the steering wheel. Here's the main message I want to leave you with. You are not broken. You don't need fixing. Your mind and emotions aren't your enemies, but they do need guidance, training, and purposeful direction, just like any powerful tool. You have more control than you realize. You have more power than you've been told. You have the ability to change your inner experience and, because of that, your entire life. It starts with awareness. It continues with practice. It shows up as the life you've always wanted to live, calm in chaos, strong in hard times, purposeful in action, and free from being controlled by passing emotions and automatic reactions. So, the 15 tips we covered today aren't magic pills, they're tools. And like any tool, they work when you use them. So don't just take in this information and forget about it tomorrow. Choose 1 or 2 tips that spoke to you most. Promise to practice them for the next week. Really practicing them, not just thinking about them. Maybe it's the 2-second pause before reacting. Maybe it's the nightly gratitude practice. Maybe it's naming your emotions when they come. Maybe it's creating your mental reset button. Whatever it is, start small, start today, and stay regular. Because here's the truth. 6 months from now, you're going to arrive at a future version of yourself. The only question is, which version will it be? The version that stayed stuck in the same patterns, controlled by emotions and circumstances, or the version that took control, built these skills, and changed their relationship with their own mind. The choice has always been yours. You just needed to know that you have the power to choose. You're not a passenger in your own life anymore. You're the driver. Your emotions aren't the enemy, they're the fuel. Your mind isn't working against you, it's the vehicle. Now you know how to drive. Start today, start small, stay regular, and watch as everything changes. If you found value in this video, do me a favor. Hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss future content on personal development and mental mastery. Drop a comment telling me which of these 15 tips spoke to you most, or which one you're going to use first.
I read every comment and I'd love to hear your thoughts.
And remember, your mind is the most powerful tool you'll ever own. Learn to use it wisely. I'll see you in the next one. Now go take control. I believe in you.